According to various news sources such as CNN and Fox News, Facebook is suffering its worst hack in the social media platform's history. At least 50 million users have been involved, and tons of account information on their accounts are being sold over the dark web. Facebook could likely see serious lawsuits in its near future as a result to lack of protecting people's privacy.
The company's history. The cyber attack, which happened Tuesday, exposed the personal information of nearly 50 million users. It's just the latest hack on the social media giant. Let's get more on what this all means from Nicholas Thompson, editor-in-chief of Wired magazine. Nick, good morning.
Good morning.
I was one of the people who got hacked too. My email got hacked, and suddenly my account was sending out stuff. I think a lot of people experienced this. What exactly do we think they got?
We don't know. Hackers got access to people's complete Facebook profiles, meaning that they could do whatever they wanted to do inside of your account, and they could see anything. The most damaging possible things are if they were to look in your Facebook messages,
right,
and you have all kinds of personal information in there. If they look in your security preferences and get information about your two-factor authentication and your cell phone number, and then
the breach was sparked due to Facebook's View As tool, where the user can see their own profile from another user's perspective. This is where hackers were able to steal the access token and get into people's accounts without even knowing the passwords. As you can imagine, this was a very dangerous situation where people's personal data could easily be taken advantage of. Since hackers are able to gather all of this personal information, this is where the dark web came into play. The dark web is where the hackers are able to take information in which they find on certain individuals' accounts and sell them for profit. You might be wondering, what is it exactly that they sell? Well, oftentimes Facebook users will have linked passwords with other social media platforms or things like Spotify and other music streaming sites. Another thing they can sell is your credit card information if you have it saved in the system, and things like addresses and phone numbers as well, which are also saved in the system. Since this is the case, it makes it very easy to manipulate these Facebook users because they are unable to protect themselves once a hacker is in the system, which is why many people are putting the blame on Facebook.
Releasing a statement saying that those accounts could have been used by people with nefarious intentions, and that at this early stage of their investigation, they don't know who these people are or where they're based, who carried out this attack. And naturally, that's led to anger being expressed on other social media platforms.
Oh my God, someone besides who Facebook was willing to sell your info to may have your info. Terrible times.
I knew something was up last night when I saw an error has occurred and when I clicked on the app. Now I've been logged out of my account and I can't remember my password. Time to change it again.
If they refuse to protect those they monetize, consumers' clients should quit and possibly they should be put out of business.
Now, it's been a tough year for Facebook. Earlier this year, they teamed up with the Atlantic Council, the American think tank, to combat what they said was fake news, but that's led...
Going off this information, people have many questions for government officials, like, can Facebook get into legal trouble over this breach in personal information? Well, sources like CNET have said that Facebook has faced many lawsuits from lawyers all over the place, and these people believe that sites like Facebook are able to accumulate so much personal information about individual with no adequate security measures. It then talks about how Congress needs to step up and make sure that if these sites are going to have access to this information, they need to protect it like it's their own information, which is a very valid point. A few days after the breach, The Verge said, the lawsuit was filed today in U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California. The complaint alleges Facebook is guilty of unlawful business practices, deceit by concealment, negligence, and violations of California's Customer Records Act. The plaintiffs want statutory damages and penalties awarded to them and other class members, as well as providing of credit monitoring services, punitive damages, and the coverage of attorney fees and expenses. Although Facebook says it has fixed the issue that resulted in the breach, it still has little to no information to provide on who is behind the attack or when the attack even occurred. The company began notifying affected users on the morning of the attack with a message on its website and mobile app, and it's been holding a series of calls with reporters throughout that day to brief them on technical details and other information as it arose. Still, this is among one of the more serious breaches Facebook has ever suffered, and it will likely only intensify criticism of the company's handling of user data and its privacy policies. In the wake of the Cambridge Analytica scandal earlier this year, in which more than 70 million users' personal info was packaged and sold to a data mining firm without their consent. Mark R. Warner, who is the vice chairman of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence and the co-chair of the Senate Cybersecurity Caucus, stated, "Today's disclosure is a reminder about the dangers posed when a small number of companies like Facebook or the credit bureau Equifax are able to accumulate so much personal data about individual Americans without adequate security measures. This is another sobering indicator that Congress needs to step up and take action to protect the privacy and security of social media users. As I've said before, the era of the Wild West in social media is over." Because of people taking action, like Senator Warner, Facebook definitely will face some challenges in time to come.
Well-developed standards for how social media is allowed to use personal information. What the senators are asking the Federal Trade Commission to do is to take its power to police fairness in the marketplace and use that power to try and set some of those rules of the road. The Federal Trade Commission already regulates privacy in other settings, things like data security and when there's data security breaches. They've also gone after companies that have violated their own privacy policies and sort of broken promises that they made to their users. So it fits really well with the power and the precedent the FTC already has to say that the Federal Trade Commission should be more aggressive in setting some boundaries for how social media uses our information. Facebook has an interesting tension in its business plan now, doesn't it? On the one hand, of course, they want to avoid these privacy controversies and maintain the trust of their users. Otherwise, they could be in real trouble.
Facebook is a great way to keep in touch with friends, share photos, plan private events, link your accounts on other social media platforms, and so much more. However, should we trust it? With such a major breach in the system, Facebook claims they don't know how it happened or even who the hacker was. To me, this is very alarming. As a Facebook user, if I am going to put my information on one account like this, I must be ensured that nothing is going to happen to my private data. In my personal opinion, we should have proper legislation involving the way social media platforms in general are handling our personal information such as phone and credit card numbers, addresses, and passwords. It is only fair to the people who are making these big-time companies like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so rich and famous. Congress needs to pass a bill and take this sort of thing more seriously. Facebook must step into action and protect our private information like it is their own. The line has been crossed and it needs to stop here.